Another day, another The Outer Worlds 2 review. Well, actually, currently on the internet, everything is about the Emiru and Miskiv situation, and honestly, I could not care less. I think all the top streamers are bad people.
In the days and weeks leading up to the Outer Worlds 2 release, the only thing I could think of was this trailer from the Game Awards last year.
More action, more weapons, more graphics.
That was my expectation, right? Just more
Yep, that was a huge red flag, considering all the people who played the first game said that that wasn't the problem.
game, more of what should have been in the first game in the first place. And after 15 hours with the Outer Worlds 2, I'm pretty positive that it nails that mission. I've been able to play the game early thanks to Xbox for sending me a code, so I'm going to talk about what I think so far and what you should expect from this game.
Okay, boys, place your bets. Is this gonna be another? The Outer Worlds 2 is great if you liked Avowed. No one liked Avowed. No one liked Avowed. No one. It was really bad.
First off, here's what I've played. The entire first map of the game. If you're not familiar, this is not one massive open world, it's a series.
How many people, I wonder honestly, are already put off by just look at this.
First,
what the hell is this? Avowed had exactly the same problem. The fact that it's foliage and everything else, it's flora and fauna, just brutally made no sense and it looked fake. And this is kind of the same. Granted, yeah, this is an alien world, but it doesn't feel alien when it looks like our planet, but it just has a bunch of different colors spat into it. It doesn't look nor alien nor real.
Map of the game. If you're not familiar, this is not one massive open world, it's a series of open worlds. So I've completed everything in the first zone, and I've completed almost half of everything in the second zone. I've reached level 11. I've really kind of built out my character to be focused on guns first and speech second. I've recruited 4 of the companions, so I feel like I've met a decent amount of them so far, and I've done,
all the companions, by the way, boys, don't worry, none of them are white. They're all extremely diverse, exactly like everyone obviously always wants.
Open world exploration, main mission.
And you can't sleep with any of them if you're wondering.
Side mission, everything that I could get my hands on so far. And the big standout thing for me is that this is like an RPG's RPG when it comes to dialogue. The Outer Worlds 2 has some of the most impressive branching dialogue based on choices that you make of any RPG.
Wow, this is a first. I have seen a couple of reviews, but even the biggest... Oh, I got sent a review copy, but don't worry. Wink, wink, boys. My opinions, wink, 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 are my own, wink, wink, wink. And the fact that I'm being given this opportunity for a fast review, and if I say anything negative that's going to impact my chance for future opportunities at Xbox, wink, 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 doesn't apply here. This is the first time I honestly see anyone say actually anything good about the dialogue. The dialogue is very, very clearly very, very bad and hollow. The special dialogue choices are plentiful, and none of them actually do anything. No matter what you do, pretty much, almost always unlocks you a dialogue choice in this game that's unique! And none of them impact anything, It's just a unique dialogue text that changes absolutely nothing about anything. And then she betrayed us, tried telling myself it was an accident, but now we got the cold, hard proof it wasn't. Law only knows... I think that's a person's name. Law only knows why she trusted the order's numbers. Always ascribe to malice when that which can be explained by incompetence, I say. That's the reverse of that statement. Okay. The Order, the ones that had a scheme with the Protectorate, what exactly is the Order? This is the first one actually is kind of okay, I would say, as a dialogue option, which is the first time actually saying this about Another Worlds 2 dialogue. But look at this. This is an exact example of how bad the game is. It gives you dialogue dump and exposition right there in your face because it can't figure out a way to give you a natural rundown what's happening. You are from the Earth Protectorate or whatever it's called. You should know all of this, but here you can ask the Order. What is the Order? Please give me an exposition dump. Why are you so fixated on what her motivations were? Why would anyone can't ask that? Most of the dialogue is possibilities to ask questions or continue the dialogue, and you would pick none of these choices. That's enough for now. We'll learn more at the Vox. Okay? Yeah, the dialogue is poor. This is the first time anyone calls it good.
RPG that I've played, especially one that is not like isometric or top down. When you think of really good dialogue in RPGs, at least recently for me, I think of Baldur's Gate 3. Kind of hit the high mark for what I expect out of a very reactive game that lets you choose from, you know, an insane amount of options.
Oof. Baldur's Gate 3. I have been saying this so many times, honestly. Baldur's Gate 3 was made by normal people who know how to have normal conversations. One of the big reasons why Baldur's Gate 3 succeeded, in my honest opinion, is the fact that for every dialogue choice, for every dialogue that you had a choice that you could resonate with. There was always one, two, or maybe even three dialogue options that you could pick because, yeah, that's something I would say. Here, none of this. None of this. It's caricatures of people in the best case.
The Outer Worlds.
Also, by the way, boys, like the video right now. Hype it up if you're on a mobile device. Takes less than a second. And thank you for everyone who does so. It greatly helps out the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if you think this is important, then definitely like the video right now. Hype it up. And thank you. Thank you for everyone who does it. It does help.
2 really does kind of give that game a run for its money in terms of dialogue, and you can really feel that DNA stemming
No, this is the first time I hear this. No one, I have watched a couple of and no one has commented anything good about the dialogues in general. I think Mr. Matty Plays was actually the most critical about the dialogue, that he just said he would choose nothing, which is actually a based opinion.
the way back from New Vegas. Obsidian, of course, made arguably the best Fallout.
No one at Obsidian has made New Vegas at this point. There's not a single person who even worked at New Vegas
game that's ever come out, and that game equally had amazing dialogue. This game really lets you lean into whatever kind of character you want to make, as evil as you want to be, as nice as you want to be. If you want to lean into the traits that you've specifically chosen, if you truly want to role play like these RPGs are meant to be played, this game absolutely lets you do that.
God damn.
It's crazy. I've already made some really big decisions and choices that I've had to weigh the options on. I would argue the first Outer Worlds let you do a lot of that too, but again, the scope, the scale was just not quite that big. It felt small and on a limited budget.
This is a lie. The Outer Worlds 1 didn't actually allow you to make big impactful choices. Every single choice that you made was a lie. Because every single choice pretty much led to the exact same outcome, except the ending, I guess. But that's it. Every actual choice you made led to the same outcome, pretty much.
This one feels bigger, as it should. This time you play as an agent of the Earth Directorate, and it's kind of hard to keep track of what all of the factions do in this game. And I will also say that the dialogue is very, very dense. And so I think that you have to, number one...
That is true. There is a lot of yapping in this game.
be smart in order to follow what's going on. And number two, pay close attention. This is not a game you can just, put your controller down and hop on your phone during cutscenes. You're not going to follow anything that's going on if you do that. The major factions in this game are Auntie's Choice, which is now a merger of Auntie Cleo's and Spacer's Choice, if you remember from the first game. So that's a faction. There's the Protectorate, who are this, very jingoistic, militaristic outfit who are very like order based. They are, no matter what, they want, they're kind of the law and order faction of the game. Then you have the Order of the Ascendant, who are entirely another thing. They're all smart scientists, and they believe in the grand equation, which apparently can predict the future, and everyone needs to follow the equation and the grand
But it doesn't.
design or else. So what you get is this really interesting
That faction is ass. Because the grand equation fails a lot. It's very dumb. It doesn't work blatantly. And they're like, it's just a horrible faction. It's a very, very, I don't even know what to call it, but it's an attempt on a reverse religious type of thing to a degree, but while still trying to make it religious-esque. It's a very complicated thing that has been done extremely ridiculously poor.
mix of, the capitalists, the corporatists versus, the non-corporatists, the individualists who also bow down to a
There's pretty much no difference between a corporatist and capitalist in this game, honestly.
sovereign no matter what, which has its own issues. And then you've got these, grand equations, sort of a unique sci-fi mix on what religion might look like in the future. And it's fascinating to me. If you are someone who wants to slow down and like talk to all the
I'm sorry if this is fascinating. You have you have never even tried to scratch your brain.
people, I mean, there's so many named people with unique voices and, character facial animation, then I think you're
The most common complaint about the game, by the way, is that it's very interesting, by the way. That main story characters actually look like almost normal people for the most part, but that side characters are a freak show of woke ideologies, okay? I mean, all of them are purple-haired, neurodivergent, and God knows what else. It is an absolute joke.
I think you're really going to have a good time. I lost count of how many times I turned on a recording for this video and was like, oh my God, I've been talking for 10 minutes long. And that's what I'm talking about with that incredibly intricate branching dialogue. Like, if you were to actually trace out a tree of what these branching dialogue paths look like, they're crazy and they go on forever. And I think that's actually worth noting as something that you might bounce off of. If you are going into the Outer Worlds expecting more of a Fallout 4 type of experience where it's a bit light on dialogue, but they really push you back into the action in the world, you might be
That's a reskin. That's a literal reskin creature from Avowed.
little disappointed because I do think a downside of the Outer Worlds 2, which was
Wow.
present in the Outer Worlds 1, is certainly the combat. It's not the sharpest, it's not the snappiest, it doesn't feel great in my hands. In fact, let's keep going with the Fallout analogies. It kind of feels like before they figured out combat in Fallout 4, Fallout 3 and New Vegas were a little bit rough, right? Like, those games clearly weren't made for competent first-person shooting. I think New Vegas was a little better than...
I completely disagree with the Fallout 4 take. The Fallout 4 gun combat is fucking ass. I don't understand these people who are saying, "Oh my God, Fallout 4 is such great gunplay." No, it's not. It's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah, sure, it's slightly better than New Vegas and Fallout 3, but I mean, it's still really, 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 really bad. They didn't figure out anything.
3, but that's beside the point. That's the same feeling that you get in the Outer Worlds too. It's not snappy and intricately designed like something you might expect in 2025, and that was a little disappointing to me. Don't get me wrong, combat is still like functional. You're gonna be able to shoot and kill stuff in this game. It's gonna feel,
wait. This is so far. This review has been exactly the opposite of everything anyone else I have heard has said. Typically, it's combat good, better, character story verse, technically.
Decently satisfying, but it's almost like not the point, which is a little interesting too, because you spend a lot of this time looting, right, and leveling up your character. And like me, I'm doing a guns based build, so obviously I should care about combat. It's almost like this combat is more a means to an end. It's to, you know, facilitate the story. It's to push you through.
Well, yeah, that's typically what combat is in any game, I guess.
To see the outcomes of whatever.
Well, I get what he's trying to say, but that's a strange way to put it. Not gonna lie.
You're on the side missions, the main missions, whatever it might be. So I guess we should circle back to that story that I lost on a tangent. But yeah, you are hunting down a traitor of the Earth Directorate, and that is your whole goal. So again, I'm going to use New Vegas as a parallel. It's kind of like hunting down Benny. You know, you're just following a trail across several planets. I've been to 2 planets so far, and asking questions and encountering other conflicts, deciding how much you want to participate in those conflicts or how much you want to skirt by and just get the answers that you're looking for. And I found the main quest to be, you know, engaging enough to propel me forward. I do want to find those answers, but what's really keeping my attention moment to moment, as I mentioned, dialogue is there. But this game is so stinking funny.
Allow me to introduce Strategic Ingestment Executive Wojciech, Senior Most Representative at Fort Endurance.
The exact...
That was so funny. I almost died. Nah, I'm good. I'm done.
Notch of humor that they decided to go for, it really works for me. I don't think it works for everyone. In fact, I think some people might play this and find it annoying how much characters talk. And also,
there we go. Okay, now this is a lot more close to the typical review. So far, it's the game's bad, but it's kinda good. The game's stupid, but that's fine. You know, that sort of stuff. The game's bad, but you should still buy it. This sort of critique, okay? Now this is getting more normal, okay? Now it's falling in line with the average review.
So how they're joking constantly. And I am someone who will sometimes find that annoying in a video game, but if it is actually legitimately funny, well written, and witty, then it wins me over, and that's what this game has done. Like, I am still laughing out loud 15 hours into this video game at the absurdity of what characters say in this game. It is the sort of dark and extremely twisted themes that you had in the first game that Obsidian frankly is known for with their RPGs. Again, the whole deal with Anti's choice is they're corporatists, you know? They would rather exist in this meritocracy where you have to earn everything and climb up the corporate ladder, even though the odds are completely stacked against them. And the game...
Yeah, most people want to exist in a merit-based society where if they're not trash, they can actually make it up, okay? This is an attempt at saying capitalism bad, communism good, effectively, but it fails horribly at it, doesn't it? How many of you want to exist in a society where people just get randomly given shit? Probably no one. Everyone wants to... Most people easily always will choose to live in a society where they are judged based on their merit.
Game is very smart about exploring all angles of that. You have people that belong to the Protectorate, which again is that very, you know, sovereign king based faction.
Where is the Protectorate companion? Because that one is horrible. That is like probably one of the worst written companions I have ever seen in a game. It's like, I don't even know what the attempt with him was. He's just socially completely autistic, and he's supposed to represent the whole of the Protectorate to a degree. I have no idea what's happening or why it's happening. But it's probably one of the worst written characters in, well, recent video game history.
Have to follow all the rules faction. You talk to people who belong to that and are like, no, I would rather go with Auntie's Choice, which is insane if you actually know what Auntie's Choice is all about. But you get it because the Protectorate is insane too. And there's people doing the opposite as well. People that are part of Auntie's Choice, which are like, you know what, this thing is unfair. I'd rather have some order and balance in my life and just follow, you know, one true path with the Sovereign. I'd rather be part of the Protectorate. Or with the, you know, Order of the Ascendant. They would rather rely on these predictions of what is going to happen to give them, I don't know, solitude and peace of mind versus, you know, the random nature of the other two. I'm not sure if there's going to be another faction introduced in the game, but I kind of hope there is because these guys are wild. They are wacky, and you really encounter a wide breadth of humanity, I would say, you know, because really all these RPGs are, right, is just reflections of humanity and our beliefs and what certain situations.
Poor, very, very poor reflections of humanity in this case. What do you do when none of the factions are interesting? And by the way, anyone saying the point of this is that the factions are unappealing, you're wrong. That is not the point of this. The point of this is to, the point of these factions is to emphasize the negative traits and aspects of them, but still make them right about something very fundamental at the core, which makes you think, well, there's a lot of bad here, but I mean, this positive outcome that's happening because of those bad things is better than nothing. But they're not managing it. They're completely not managing to pull it off.
Might change them and challenge them, and how we, you know, push through, how we solve the answers to our difficulties and life's greatest questions. That's the stuff that the Outer Worlds tries to kind of mirror and, you know, confront. I wouldn't go so far as to say...
I'm gonna make a prediction and say that people who think that this is a well-written game or the characters are good probably think that Borderlands 4 is also a good story, and that the Timekeeper is a great villain. Even though he literally doesn't appear in 90% of the game and has no impact on anything.
That it is, you know, confronting things that are hugely important, but yeah, dude, like, corporations in 2025 are evil. Insurance companies, like Auntie's Choice is trying to be, you know, healthcare, are evil. These are things that I, like, very much connect with. And then, of course, the trappings of the other two, you know, factions. This is interesting stuff.
Protector Freedom, that's what her name means.
To me, and it's like adult, grown-up stuff. And so, actually, I take that back. I think this is trying to mirror some real-world issues. There is a whole refugee issue because of war in one of, you know, the storylines in this game. And
oh boy, I bet that's handled very well, ain't it?
And if you don't see that as a parallel, then you might be turning your brain off. But I really like the approach that they took with, you know, examining some of these issues. They don't feel like they're trying to take a stance or, you know, rope you into some modern, you know, issue that you...
Submechanist Cade Tyranny. Is that intentional? Or is that just randomly close to tyranny?
Might land on one side or the other, anything like that. They're all within the scope of this world, but they're very smartly executed. And I guess that's really what satire is about, right? This is a game full of satire. And I don't know, I just think the lens of comedy and just dark.
Violet Munchie. Yeah, no.
Humor really works for me. So I've been having a blast with this game so far. One thing that I will knock it for, though, is the companions. I just haven't found a companion that I really like. And if you know, you know, Parvati in The Outer Worlds 1, it's like, how could you not fall for Parvati? Just great character, so lovable, someone you always wanted by your side and always added something unique. I do like Niles, I think, the most so far of the companions that I've met. But yeah, no one that's really like I've really meshed with yet. Maybe that will change. Maybe I'll come across somebody that that does that. But yeah, not as iconic companions as the first game. And I also wish that they bantered more. There's not a lot of companion banter going on. Sometimes they will remark between, you know, points of interest and go back and forth a little bit, but that's been like 2 or 3 times in 15 hours played. Just not enough for me. Another thing they've really expanded on in this game is the perks system. I really like the changes that they made.
The perks are better, even though they're not really great.
World's
But they are better, so I guess that's a positive. Well, that's technically all I wanted to know about this. Anyway, that was JB 10 out of 10. Bye!